Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Terasi. I am so excited to continue learning with you about what makes a good story. Now, take a look at the screen. I bet a lot of you recognize this story. So, our last two books focused on information about living on a farm. We read Farm Animals, which taught you facts about real life animals, and we also read The Year at Maple Hill Farm, which is an informational book, a book that gives you information about what it's like on a farm during the different seasons. So today we are going to use that background knowledge about real animals as we head into a fiction story. This story is called The Three Little Pigs. So I am going to read this story aloud to you. But before I hop into that, I want to help you recognize some of those story elements. So you may remember these from earlier in the year, or maybe you recognize some of the pictures on them. These are called story stones. Now, I know they don't look like stones in this picture, but story stones are used to help you as a reader recognize different parts of a story. You see the character there. I see a little boy on that picture on that little card, and that little boy represents characters or who the story's about. Take a look next to it. I see a little house in a circle on the card. It says setting. The setting is where or when the story takes place. I hope you remember that word from our last learning with the book The Year at Maple Hill Farm. There's a couple other story stones there. We have not learned about those yet. And as we continue learning about story elements, we will add each of those in. But there is problem, resolution, and response to the problem. But today I'm going to ask you to focus on this first guy over here. This is the character. That leads to our question of the day. How do authors create characters? A character is who the story is about. Now, characters don't always have to be humans. In this picture, it's a human, but you'll recognize in the story, our characters are not humans. I don't think there actually are any humans in the story that we're reading today. So, our focusing question is how do authors create characters? And our content framing question is what is happening in The Three Little Pigs? So, I'm going to give you a challenge right now. I want you to think of something at your house that could represent a character. I'm going to show you that picture again. It looks like this. It does not have to be that exact same picture. You know what I'm going to use? I am going to use a little Lego guy. To me, that represents a character, who the story is about. Maybe you have a stuffed animal. Maybe you have a crayon that you think represents who that story is about. I want you to pause your video and go and get your item. Okay, so that is going to be your character story stone. As I read The Three Little Pigs out loud, anytime you see in a picture or you hear in words about a character or who the story is about, I want you to hold up your story stone, hold up your item. I'm going to be holding up my little Lego guy. And that's a signal to my brain, hey, that is my character. All right, let's get into the story. All right, boys and girls, I am into the story The Three Little Pigs. You ready with your story stone? Once upon a time, there were three little pigs who lived in a cozy house with their mother. I'm holding up my story stone all over the place. Mother, 1, 2, 3 little pigs. One day, Mother Pig said, "You are all grown up now. It is time for you to get out into the world and build your own houses. Build them strong and you will be safe from the big bad wolf." The first little pig was a lazy little pig. He built the simplest kind of house so he could have time to rest. His house was made of straw. It was not very strong. I'm holding up my character story stone. I see the first little pig on the right, and on the other page I see 1, 2, 3 pigs and Mother Pig. The second little pig was a playful little pig. He built his house quickly so he could go out and play. His house was made of sticks. It was not very strong. The third little pig was the smartest pig of all. He listened carefully to his mother's advice and built a strong house of bricks. I'm holding my story stone on both second and third little pig. Those are characters in my story. The little pigs didn't know that lurking in the nearby forest was the big bad wolf. The wolf was very hungry, and for his supper he wanted a pig. The big bad wolf knocked on the first little pig's door. Little pig, let me come in, he roared. Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin, replied the first little pig. I'm holding up my story stone because I see a new character, my little Lego guy I'm holding in front of the wolf. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in, growled the wolf. So the wolf huffed and he puffed and he blew the straw house down. The first little pig ran away as fast as his legs could take him. Next, the wolf knocked on the second little pig's door. Little pig, let me come in, he roared. Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin, said the second little pig. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. I have my story stone for my second little pig and for the wolf. So the wolf huffed and he puffed and he blew the stick house down. The second little pig ran away as fast as his legs could take him. The third little pig heard a knock on his door. He was surprised to find the trembling brothers standing on the other side. The big bad wolf blew our houses down, they cried. Quick, come inside, said their brother. Minutes later, there was another knock at the door. Little pig, let me come in, said the Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin, said the third little pig. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. Oh my goodness, look what's happening with our characters. So the wolf huffed and he puffed, then he puffed and he huffed, but no matter how hard he tried, he could not blow the brick house down. The big bad wolf was very angry. I'll get you, little piggies, he snarled. He climbed up on the roof and crept toward the chimney. Oh no. Hearing the wolf on the roof, the third little pig was quick to light a fire. The wolf slid down the chimney and was met with hot, crackling flames. The wolf's tail was badly scorched. He ran from the house into the woods howling. The big bad wolf never bothered the three little pigs again. And they lived happily ever after. The end. All right. I headed out of the book, heading back to the PowerPoint because I want you to take a look at this. This is a picture of a story map that you are going to be able to fill out on your own by the end of the module. We looked at what a setting was in the year at Maple Hill Farm, so now we're going to work on identifying these characters. I know you guys can probably tell me the characters in this story, so I'm actually going to give you a little bit of a challenge. I know you can do more than just tell me who they were, so we're going to look for some text evidence to describe these characters. So in this story, there were three types of animals. There were three of a type of animal. Who were they? If you said the three little pigs, you're right. There was the first pig. They called them the second pig, and the last one was the third pig. Now, in this story, there was a very bad villain or bad guy. Who was it? I want you to say it out loud in 1, 2, 3. I hope you said the wolf. All right, so now we're going to describe them a little bit. The first pig, I found a picture of that page so we can describe each of those pigs because each of the pigs were different. And then we're going to use this activity. You're going to choose one of those characters and you are going to draw a picture and you are going to describe it to share with your teacher a character that you identified from this story. Okay, let me see. We're going to look for a way to describe that first. Okay, take a look here. The first little pig was a lazy little pig. He built the simplest kind of house so he could have time to rest. I heard a word that described that pig. Did you? I heard the word lazy. I'm going to go back and put it on my story map. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write, is Lazy. That's just an easy way for me to keep track of that. Now we're going to look up Mr. Pig number. The second little pig was a playful little pig. Did you hear that word? Playful. Let's pop it into our story. I'm going to get dizzy from going back and forth. Here, second pig is playful. Let's learn about pig number 3. I found the page with my character when I used my story stone to identify a character. The third little pig was the smartest pig of all. What is he? He's smart. Let's put it on our story map. Third pig is smart. Okay, so I think you might know about the wolf without even having to go back and look for evidence. I certainly do. So tell me, could you tell me the wolf? How they describe him? He's big and he's bad. All right, let me show you what you're going to do. Take a look at that list of characters. And I want you to choose one. There's the first pig. He's lazy. The second pig, he's playful. The third pig is smart. And the wolf is big and bad. If you need time to think about it a little more, you can pause the video. But I'm making my choice. I'm going to use pig number 3. He was smart because he listened to his mom. So I am going to draw and label one character from the story in my response journal. You know Mrs. Tarasi is not very good at drawing on here, but I am going to go for it. I learned before how to draw a pig, so I'm going to do the same now. Let's see how to do that. So I'm going to draw. Oh, it's the right color. No, it's not. I am going to draw the third little pig because I said I picked him. I like him. He's smart. He is a smart little pig and he listens to his mom. And he builds a really nice sturdy house. So I would probably make his house over here. That doesn't look like much of a pig, but we're going to pretend that it is. I wonder if I can draw. No, I can't. Okay. You know, every time I think I can draw and then I realize that I can't on here. But I would just draw my pig. I'm going to label him. I am going to label him. He is, right now, he's not much of anything. Oh, my. He is the third little pig. And I know you are all so smart. Is smart. Smart like you. So look what I did there. I labeled him. I put a sentence. The third little pig is smart. Pretend that's a drawing of a pig. So you will have an activity on Seesaw, but I want you to use this video as a reminder of what those characters, or I'm sorry, who those characters are. I can't wait to see who you choose.